Tactical Officer's personal log. Stardate 76587.6. Locally, it's the mid-2020s. The next stage of our temporal gambit wasn't really a challenge at all. The other items seemed random, however this one did seem to have a hint of meaning. It's situated at TrekCulture, a popular entertainment website and video network in Earth's internet age. It was the award for one of their channels. The Listicons demanded one, marked TrekCulture, as if it somehow belonged to them. The doors were barred. To gain entry to their headquarters, the captain instructed me to render their locks obsolete. Look, if we succeeded with these challenges, violations of the Temporal Prime Directive would be undone. Besides, if you've listened to my logs, you know we were a bit naughty. Using the personal cloaking technology we borrowed from Daystrom Station, we proceeded with the mission, and the captain and I soon discovered that potential meaning to our visit. The whole company were making lists, just like the Listicons' own obsession. Some of them were synthetic. One I encountered had been left on, generating content. The recording device wasn't even activated. I also found a lanthanoid living amongst them. It wasn't just lists this what culture were producing. We overheard the production of news content for a fictional grappling contest. Nerds. We signalled the ship, informing them we'd found the award. It was on a wall surrounded by dozens more. But why this one? With no time for speculation, I used my years of tactical experience. I hatched a cunning plan. Our objective achieved, the captain insisted we remain for a short time, sampling local customs and culture. After years of service under her command, I found it easier to just go with it. However, one final emergency did delay our departure by a further 2 hours, which depleted the batteries in our personal cloaking devices. We had to move quickly to rendezvous with a ship. With the captain and artifact safely on board, we set course for the future. End log. That was a lot of fun to film. We've been sitting on that for quite some time. As a couple of you have noticed as well, there was when we were in Newcastle last year, myself and Ellie, that was fun. And yes, that poor man getting shot at the end was the wonderful Chris. So maybe send him an L message, check in with him and see how he is. Hello everyone, yes, we are coming to you with a discussion of the news that came out over the weekend. I want to start with the positive first, and a massive congratulations to the team in Strange New Worlds who, yes, they've been confirmed, it's happening, they are getting a season 4, absolutely delighted for them. I really am happy because the show, it deserves it. I think it's getting stronger as it goes along. I think it started well, and it's getting stronger as it goes along. Obviously, we loved season 2 here. We loved, the gimmick episodes. That sounds really hard, the gimmick episodes. But we did, with the crossover, the musical, a lot of fun. But overall, it's just a really solid show. So I'm really happy to see kind of the outpouring of support for them as well. We had the showrunners release a statement saying that, yes, they will be boldly going, if you will, again for another year. So we know as well that season 3 has completed filming, so excellent, and that will begin airing in 2025. And I know that seems like so long away, but we're already halfway through April of 2024. We have half a season of Star Trek Discovery still to go. We have season 2 of Star Trek Prodigy, whenever that becomes available worldwide. We have season 5 of Lower Decks, and we have section 31 as well. So there is still a lot of Star Trek still to come in 2024. So I don't think it's going to feel as long, as much of a distance in terms of time as we might have initially feared. The announcement that we were getting season 4 of Strange New Worlds, of course, is a bittersweet one. None more so, I think, for poor old Anson Mount. When the announcement came, it was side by side with the reveal that the 5th season of Lower Decks is going to be the final one. Now I say poor old Anson Mount because he retweeted the announcement that season 4 was on the way for Strange New Worlds, and that announcement contained the same information about, or the information about Lower Decks coming to an end. He then subsequently tweeted out an apology like, I'm really sorry, I just got caught up in the moment. And I want to say, obviously, I think everyone has completely saw that in the moment, but you feel bad for him because we don't want the happiness that is the announcement of season 4 of Strange New Worlds to be dented by, you know, some of the fandom sadness that Lower Decks is coming to an end. He should be excited that his show's getting a 4th season. I'm excited for him. Lower Decks. I've had a couple of days now to digest the news. For me, speaking personally, for me, this is a surprise. And yet there were signs. Mike McMahon, showrunner, has previously spoken about how one should not sit back in complacency. I'm paraphrasing. One should not sit back in complacency with numbers. And he said this after the removal of Star Trek Prodigy from Paramount Plus and the effective cancellation. This is before Netflix in season 2. He encouraged people, you need to watch these shows for them to stay on the air and for them to stay in production. Because at that stage he would have been presumably deep into making and planning season 5. We don't know exactly at what stage along the decision, or at what stage along production, the decision to cancel Lower Decks was made. And that is one thing that, as with the information available to us right now, it has been cancelled as opposed to it coming to its natural end. And we know this from posts like Jack Quaid's post on Instagram. He said that he would love to play Boimler for as long as he could still play him. And of course that could read like a very nice yet hollow statement. But what he did say was that, you know, with some luck, we will be picked up on another platform. Now that is not something you say if your show has come to its natural close. And that post is still up, so I don't believe that was like an accidental post or anything like that. Mike McMahon himself said in the announcement that he would love to see Boimler, Rutherford, Mariner, and Tendi appear in many more adventures in the future. There has been a frankly hilarious campaign, a set of tweets already about, you know, people expecting, yes, Lower Decks will come to an end, but Star Trek Middle Decks is on the way. Or, you know, that Mike McMahon is now walking into Paramount's offices wearing a very obvious fake mustache and pitching a show called Star Trek Cerritos. I love things like that. And I love how much the fandom has rallied around to show their support for Lower Decks. The obvious parallel here is, well, not that long ago, the announcement of the cancellation of Discovery, and of course everything that went on with Star Trek Prodigy. It's been rather a lot of endings in a short space of time. What happened with Star Trek Prodigy is very different from what's happening with Star Trek Lower Decks. It was all very slapdash and it was a bit confusing. And then of course the big bombshell was that Prodigy was being removed from Paramount Plus. They have already said in this announcement, they've confirmed that Lower Decks will not be removed from Paramount Plus. So that at least that's a bonus, I think, that it's being, I'm going to say, treated with a little bit more respect than Prodigy was. But I'm not in these meetings, I'm not a fly on the wall, I don't know what the process is exactly, whether Lower Decks remaining on Paramount Plus has anything to do with Prodigy. And in fact, it's more likely that it doesn't have anything to do with how the Prodigy situation was handled. Already, I'm seeing petitions springing up online for Save Star Trek Lower Decks, and we will be taking part in them. We will be signing them and sharing them as they come up. The only way shows get renewed is if there is an audience there to consume them. Because I'm going to talk business for a second. These are products, and if no one's buying the product, they're not going to continue producing the product. Now, obviously they're very meaningful to us, and they're meaningful to me, and I love the stories, I love the performances, I love everything about it. And if I don't watch it, you know what I mean? Seeing the fan outcry and seeing the fandom coming together like this has been very heartening. Because, again, I'm not in these meetings, so I can only, you know, surmise or speculate. The numbers must not have been there for them to cancel Lower Decks. Because think about it, Lower Decks must be one of the cheapest of the shows to produce. I mean, a season of Lower Decks costs about the same as an episode of Strange New Worlds. And if the numbers aren't there, that's the kind of thing that goes into these decisions. Now, in saying that, I don't know what numbers they need. You know, do we need 20 million people watching every episode? Do we need 2 million people watching every episode? I don't know. And that's one of the frustrating things about streaming as well, is that some, and I stress not many, will release their streaming figures. But I know there's much bigger conversations around that. But it would be great to know how many people are watching Lower Decks, which means, you know, so we might have an idea of, okay, look, so, you know, 500,000 people an episode, that's, boom, that's cancellation territory. That's, you know, whereas if it's 1.5 million, maybe that's saving territory. Or a producer could be watching this and being like, Sean, I'm afraid you need to start adding zeros to those numbers to guarantee any saving. The thing is, where it is similar to all of the other cancellations, and I hate to say the phrase all of the other, but there's been a few, is that we are not privy to this information. And yeah, that is frustrating because, you know, you have to wonder, do these petitions work? Now, let's start with the positive. Look at Prodigy. You know, petitions were signed, they were shared, there was a massive fan outcry, and again, let us never forget the banner, and the show was saved. It's been picked up by Netflix to air at some point during 2024, worldwide, I mean. There is upset, but there seems to be slightly less outrage. And I think that's because of the manner in which this has been announced. I might be way off, I'm sorry, you know, perhaps you are sitting there seething with rage, and I'm not going to say that you're wrong. I am not happy about this news. You know, I'm doing smiling, and I'm trying to, you know, bright side of life, but I'm not happy about this news. I think Lower Decks has been a fabulous introduction for a lot of new Trekkies into the fandom, as much as it has been a gift for existing Trekkies. Myself and Chris were speaking this morning about how, yes, the Easter eggs are brilliant. You know, we have so much fun with Sedation Observations with this, but so many of the plots are not reliant on you having deep Trek knowledge to enjoy them. It's more an added bonus. And then, of course, you have some that are a bit reliant on deep Trek knowledge, looking at you, Nick Locarno. Some of the cast, of course, have taken to airing how they feel about it online. Well, we spoke about Mike McMahon already, and Jack Quaid's post. Noelle Wells has been sharing people supporting their love of Tendi, and Jerry O'Connell as well, putting up a lovely picture in tribute to the wonderful Commander Ransom. We now wonder, what's season 5 going to look like? And how far, again, as I say, how far into production did they get the news? Is it going to end on a cliffhanger? It's one thing, nothing is easy, but it's one thing getting a group of actors back together again to film in front of a green screen. And I'd say that I don't know how Discovery ends, but I'm alluding to the coda that's been added to the end of Discovery. Animating a scene takes a lot longer than that. So you would hope that there's an ending on it. If we're only ever going to get 5 seasons and that's it, you would hope that there's an ending on it. Think of the ending of season 2 of Lower Decks. You have the Starfleet Security Service arrives and arrests Freeman. It's a big cliffhanger, and of course we get the hilarious next episode, including the trip to Montana. We see, you know, the Phoenix is in it, loads of fun and everything. But the gag of that first episode being, oh, it was all sorted off screen, you should have just waited. The end of season 4 sees Tendi on her way back to Orion. Are we going to spend a season without Tendi? And now it's the last season? Oh no. I really don't think that's going to be the case. Or is it going to be addressed in episode 1, and then we get the other 9 episodes with Tendi back on the ship? And also, what of Tulin? Tulin is, we feel, as much a part of the group as, say, Rutherford is. She is, you know, the fifth harmony, you know, she is Camilla Cabello. That's a reference. You know, what of Tulin? Will we get more of her? Will we get the 5 of them together? That's what we want, as well as everyone else on the ship. We want that. Also, Mike, pop Funko of Tulin as soon as possible. Thanks very much. We've obviously been, you know, we have been and will continue to scan through the stories. We you know, once we get a clear idea of the whys and the wherefores, other than low numbers, show cancelled, once we can get a little bit more detail, of course, we will bring that to you as quickly as possible. It's not all doom and gloom. Strange New Worlds Season 4, we have Section 31 on the way, with the possibility of more long treks as well. We have Starfleet Academy on the way as well. And look, I joke, but Academy would want to be good. I think it will be. Again, we've spoken about this at length. This is the thing we spoke about before filming, is that they announced, the biggest standing set for a Star Trek series ever has been built for Star Trek Academy. Okay, that's fantastic, and that shows confidence in the show. But when boasting about spending so much money on that, and then shows are getting cancelled, presumably to save money in the coffers, it puts more pressure again on Starfleet Academy to deliver. So we are going in with open minds. We have said that from the off. We have an open mind and we want this show to be good. We're looking forward to hearing more about it and, whatever details we can. I'd love to see a trailer. Whether we do see a trailer sometime this year, I don't know. I believe it's only beginning filming in the summer, so we could be a while off yet. Even I'll take some concept art if it's going. As it stands, we don't know anything about Prodigy Season 3, whether that's on the horizon. I do remember speaking to people who would know far more about it than I would, but they alluded to if they were told today you're going to get a Season 3, you can expect about a 2-year wait. So you hope that they were told at the start of this year. So I don't think we'll be getting any Prodigy in 2025 anyway, but you never know. And you don't know, none of us know what's going to happen with any of these characters. People have been calling for, are we going to get a live action Lower Decks? Well, my short answer to that is I don't think so. That doesn't mean that I don't think they're going to turn up in other things. Take a shot, I'm about to say Star Trek Legacy. But if there is a Legacy series, I would love to see any of the Prodigy or Lower Decks characters appear in that. That would be awesome. And if this Legacy one that we've been talking about, if it ever happens, but let's say it does and it's early 25th century, I mean, that's only 20 years after Lower Decks, 20 years after Prodigy. So yeah, I'd say everyone could have a spring in their step and be grand. We don't know how quickly or slowly Orion's age. Tendi could look the exact same, slightly less animated. We will bring to you whatever news we can as it comes in. It's a bummer. I'll be straight with you. It's a bummer, the news about Lower Decks. And if you feel upset about it, and if you feel annoyed about it, that's fine. I'm with you. To those who are saying, it's, people going on as if they're stamping their feet and, people questioning why people would call to save Lower Decks, because it means something. It means something to people. And if you don't like it, don't watch it. What do we say all the time? If you don't like something, don't watch it. It's as simple as that. Before I go, there is another little bit of news that I do want to say as well. Congratulations to the team behind Star Trek Picard, who were nominated at the Writers Guild of America Awards last night. While they may not have taken home the award, Picard, a year on, is still getting nominations, is still being recognized for its success. And I think that's just bloody brilliant. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for watching along. We will bring more information to you if and when it comes up. It's okay to feel bummed about this. Don't be too upset, because we never know. We never know. Keep streaming. Buy the physical media where, if and when you're in a position to do so. That'll be great. And, keep the chat going, keep the petitions going. And also, be mindful. This is one thing that I've caught myself. Be mindful when you're putting things out online, that a lot of people who make these shows do read that stuff. So just be nice. Most importantly, look after yourselves until I'm talking to you again. You're awesome. You're wonderful. Live long and prosper. Thank you. Thank you everyone for subscribing. 300,000 subscribers. It means a lot. It means a lot. You're brilliant. Live long and prosper.